So welcome to our breathing space for today, the 22nd of March. And I thought, as we've been looking at different attitudes of mindfulness and different like acceptance, curiosity, patience, it might be interesting today to think about courage, because to accept what we find in our practice can sometimes be quite difficult. Um, to let go of attitudes or to let go of things that we're holding on to can be very difficult. And also, just to stay present with what is here can sometimes be a little bit difficult. So, having courage might be one of our core attitudes for mindfulness. So, I was doing a little bit of scribbling earlier on. And I invite you maybe later after today's practice, just take a page and just start doing what I did, which, I mean, you can't read it and it doesn't matter. What's more important is what you write on the page. Do a little bit of like, brainstorming and just start with the word courage and see where it takes you. What's most important in today's practice is to explore questions like, what does courage feel like to you right now? Is there anything that you come across in your practice that might ask for a little bit of courage? And if so, what might that courage actually be like? What sort of action or attitude or self-care might courage actually be like for you? And don't go investigating courage like I'm going to go ask ChatGPT to define it for me or look it up in a dictionary or go ask the internet. I really want you to use your practice to explore with beginner's mind and curiosity. What does courage feel like for me in today's practice? So we're going to do our usual practice, which will involve getting grounded, then some meditation on the breath, settling into the body, opening up, I think, to some choiceless awareness today, just awareness of what's present, what's going on in our thoughts and feelings. And that gives us some space to just sit with the question about courage. Try not to go looking for answers, more just ask the question and see what happens, what comes up. Okay? And we'll have a little chat about that after our practice. So let's begin. For our practice, you could be sitting down or lying down or even walking around the house. So our first beginning of our practice is just asking a question of what feels right for me today. Is it a day where lying down might give me an extra sense of being grounded? Or maybe sitting today helps you to stay alert, dignified, and maybe walking today, if your energy is particularly restless, perhaps movement might actually help you come into stillness. As you settle into your posture, using this as an opportunity to turn attention inward, invite things to slow down a little bit, coming into practice of paying attention, on purpose in the present moment. We can start by paying attention to all the places that the body connects with or is supported by the chair, the mat, the bed. Inviting our curiosity to a place underneath words, a place that's embodied in sensations. And like stars appearing in the night sky, gradually we become aware of all the different ways that the body is held, supported, in contact with that mat, the bed, the chair. As you begin to really connect with the way your body is sitting or lying, perhaps there's a little adjustment that you would like to make. The goal here is not to be in any particular way, but more to find a way of sitting or lying that feels stable, secure, and safe. And if you like, you might invite a sense of that grounded energy that comes from the earth in whatever way that it might feel like for you today, just to be grounded, stable. A place that we can anchor our attention whenever we want. If we wander today, as the mind, of course, will, if we're distracted, as we will be, we've always got this connection with the chair, the mat, to come back to, coming home to body in our practice. As we rest here, maybe also aware of the movement of the breathing in the body. And as best we can, noticing any natural tendency to think, ooh, I'm meditating. I should be breathing in a particular way. In mindfulness meditation, we simply tune in intentionally to noticing things as they are. So just noticing how and where the movement of breathing is felt in your body right now. And through connecting to breath and connecting to body, perhaps we begin to connect more to a sense of energy in the body today. This sense of embodied awareness. Perhaps the energy in the body feels restless. Perhaps it feels quite tired, maybe alert, maybe quite slumpy. And there's no right way or wrong way to be, just being aware of how things are in the body, in the breathing, in the energy right now. As we settle more, inviting that sense of slowing things down even more, almost slow motion, frame by frame, inviting curiosity, noticing things as they are, the flow of experience as we live it, in the little details, maybe tuning even more into movement of breathing. How is that felt in belly, in chest, or in the mouth or the nose, in the back, in the shoulders, or somewhere else? Noticing the difference between sensations of in-breath and sensations of out-breath. While you rest there with your breathing, I'm just going to drop in this idea about courage. Courage comes from a Latin word for heart. The cur part of courage is all about connecting to the true voice of your heart. Connecting in your meditation today, in whatever way happens, just being aware of you right now, the truth of you in body, in mind, in emotions. And the aj part of courage is all about the action around that. Now, in mindfulness, the action might just be noticing, accepting, being curious, turning towards, giving space, giving recognition to all the different levels and layers of our present moment lived experience. And courage might also include noticing all those times the mind wanders, as it does. It might be a tender and caring courage to just start over again, to notice that wandering mind and to accept it as normal human nature. Not to say, ooh, I'm terrible at meditation. My mind keeps wandering. But instead celebrate it. Wow, I'm noticing how busy the mind is. And then that courage to say, okay, I come back to my breathing. I come back to my points of contact. Get myself grounded. Reconnect to the present moment. And this is my practice. Let's see if we can invite some curiosity now into the details of the body, the lived experience in our body right now. Again, a place without words, just sensation. As we connect to that energy that we have, perhaps as we rest our curiosity in the body, we begin to notice all the layers, all the details of that bigger picture, and we just tune in to whatever we feel in the body. Could be in the muscles, could be in the inner organs, could be on the skin, the bones, might be in the legs, might be in the fingers, really anywhere. And rather than doing a guided body scan, just being curious. What does the body have to say today? And then listen to its language of pulsing, tingling, temperature, all the different sensations. We've talked in past sessions about this capacity to hold layers of experience. Could we play even, just play with noticing where we are in contact with chair or mat or bed? And then around that, noticing the breathing in the body, moving wherever we feel it today. And then around that, any sensations in the body that attract our attention. Playfulness. Mindfulness doesn't have to be deadly serious. We could play a little game and just see what happens as we play with our embodied awareness. Having the courage to be playful can connect to the authentic heart of our experience, just like a child, beginner's mind. Now, it might be that there's a sensation that keeps pulling your attention and it feels really good because we have this awareness of feeling tone, pleasant, but also possibly unpleasant, difficult. And so, can we invite whatever type of courage We need to accept vulnerability, to accept that life has a whole range of different experiences: pleasant, unpleasant, boring, neutral. What sort of courage, kindness, compassion would help us just to turn towards even the unpleasant, get to know it a little bit better, let the body know that you're listening and present and paying attention. If it feels good, we can breathe a little softness, a little kindness around those difficult places. We're not trying to fix things or change things, just offer some softness and kindness if that feels right. Maybe have the courage to accept care and kindness and compassion into those places. Courage can also be, though, setting boundaries. And if it feels really not pleasant to go too close to these places, having the courage just to say, you know what, today that's enough. Today I'll just go back to breathing, to lying here. Just take a step back from those difficult places. That's courage as well. The courage to recognize your own needs and your own boundaries. This might bring us into awareness of thinking, awareness of emotions, emotional weather that changes all the time. So, as we've done with our physical sensations, just checking in with your own sense of resourced or not, resilient or tired, and as much as feels right for you, that curiosity and courage to just allow emotions to flow, allow the thoughts to wander. And we sit like watching clouds or watching a river. We just observe how emotions flow, how thoughts arise and fade. We get to know the lived experience of the emotions and the mind, just as we sit in this kind of open awareness of what arises and what fades, moment by moment, in body, emotions, or mind. And as best we can, as we observe feelings and thoughts, playing that game where we still notice the body is safe, stable, grounded, supported by the mat, the bed, the chair. Feeling the breathing, and as best we can, using this as a way of just stepping back from being in the thoughts to observing thoughts. Maybe we might say, oh, there's a worry thought, there's a planning thought, there's a particular memory thought, as a way of maintaining our mindful perspective and presence. Equally, we might go, oh, there's that particular emotion, sadness, joy, frustration, anger, love. Just name the emotion, but we could also say, well, where's it felt in the body? In the chest, in the arms, in the neck, in the belly. So using our mindfulness to really connect with emotion and thought as observers, compassionate and mindful observers. Often, when we sit in a mindful observation of thoughts and feelings, it can pull us sometimes into that very normal place of the the inner critic, self-judgment, insecurity, maybe even facing fears. And that can sometimes feel a little bit difficult, challenging. So our question here is, what does courage feel like as we sit here with those thoughts? Is courage a holding on to something, a letting go of something, a sitting, just simply sitting and being with? Or is it setting boundaries and taking a step back? There's no right way or wrong way to feel courage, to understand courage, to be courageous. More just explore the question. So I'm going to invite you into maybe a good 5 or 6 minutes of just silent practice. You can choose to let go of courage and just be with your breathing, or just sit with the question and see how it resonates in your practice. And don't worry about the time. I'll count for you and I'll let you know when our time is up so you can just relax in the flow of your practice. So being with the flow of body, breath, thoughts and feelings. And if you like, just gently playing with the question of courage and what it means for you today. So continuing, maybe just to connect to body, breath, chair, mat, breathing. Underneath these words, there's no need to take the words too intellectually, just allow them to land, to drop into how you feel in your meditation. Maybe something might light up for you. Yeah. As we've played with this question of courage today, we're just finishing with, is there just one thing that resonates? One way that that word really lit up for you today? But trying to connect to that more with the heart, with the gut, than with the mind. Courage being a sense of connecting to being able to see and feel what the heart knows, what the body knows. And through that, finding a kind of truth, an authentic connection to self. So don't go looking for 1,000 ways to define courage, more just what what lit up for you today, if anything. And as you go through the rest of the week ahead, maybe just keep that question in your heart. We could recognize all the little ways that we have courage, courage to accept, to recognize vulnerability, to offer a little bit of kindness to ourselves, to set a boundary, to take a risk, to play, to laugh, to relax, to accept help, to offer help. Courage is anything and everything, really. But what matters is if we follow the week with that question mindfully, just to notice what lights up for you, how it lands. So I'm going to invite you to just very gently start maybe wiggling your fingers or your toes. Notice how that feels. And then just listen to your body. Maybe that wiggling might turn into a stretch, a movement in your legs, your arms. Maybe a slightly deeper breath, a yawn, some movement in the shoulders or the back. Maybe your eyes might open, take in the room around you. And whether you're sitting or lying, just being very, very gentle in how you come back into the room. If you're lying down, being very careful to roll onto your side and then just very gently sitting up, taking care of all the different movements in the muscles and the joints. And if you're sitting on a chair, even just that stretching and feeling how that changes the way your body connects to the back of the chair, the seat of the chair. I'm going to end our recording here. You've always got it on Zoom. If you want to come back to this practice, I'll send it out in an email once I've processed the YouTube call. the YouTube video, and I'll end the recording here though, so we might have an opportunity just to have a little chat about anything that came up in today's practice.